Welcome back everyone. Today we are covering Volume 1 of the Avengers 2020 comic, The Age of Khonshu. This is an epic tale and probably one of my most favorite Moonknight arcs. Grab some popcorn and get ready for a ride. The story starts at the mystical city of Kunlun, where we see Moonknight praying since sundown but notices someone's presence. Iron Fist appears and jokingly tells Moonknight, "There are easier ways to track me down than coming all the way up here." Iron Fist lets Moonknight know that he has tripped every alarm on his way up the mountain and then asks him, "You are Moonknight, right?" And then he hilariously asks him if he needs help punching some guys who stole Moonknight's shirt. He keeps up with the semi-friendly banter until things take a turn when Moonknight utters the words, "I seek the Iron Fist," and throws the first punch at a shocked Iron Fist. Danny Rand is one of the most skilled fighters in the Marvel Universe, so he isn't a pushover. He screams, "That's enough," as he hits Moonknight in the stomach. Moonknight again demands the Iron Fist as he uses his Fist of Khonshu to deliver a crushing blow to the face of Danny Rand. Iron Fist recovers and tells Moonknight that he knows he has a history of mental illness and tries to let him know that he is not his enemy and that he can call on a common friend to let him know. Danny Rand has had enough and finally hits Moonknight with the Iron Fist as he calls him crazy. Moonknight quickly recovers and assures him that he isn't delusional nor under the control of anyone but himself. He tells Iron Fist that what he is doing is sane as he starts stealing the power of the Iron Fist as Danny Rand screams in agony. The first part of this epic story comes to a close with Moonknight standing over a powerless Danny Rand, as his first goal of getting the Iron Fist has been completed. Later on in the story, we find ourselves with the sorcerer Doctor Strange at Sanctum Sanctorum, in the midst of a battle with a bunch of freshly risen mummies. As he continues to bash some of the mummies, a voice appears to Doctor Strange and says, "They're the living dead, they're already doomed, Stephen, as are you, I'm afraid." Doctor Strange immediately knows that this is the voice of Mark Spector, as he replies with, "Don't tell me you've lost your mind to your demented lunar overlord again." Moonknight gets up and straight punches Stephen right in the face and leaves an imprint of his ring on the forehead of the Doctor. Then Moonknight states that Doctor Strange is the Sorcerer Supreme, but only for a few more minutes. At this point of the story I was literally hanging on the edge of my seat. Strange notices that Moonknight hit him with the Iron Fist and then concernedly asks, "Oh Mark, what have you done?" Moonknight stands over Doctor Strange as he takes his abilities just as he did before with the Iron Fist, and he states that he's only doing what Doctor Strange should have done, and that tonight was the biggest supermoon in a million years, so he never stood a chance. This was so epic that I almost peed my pants. Next we find ourselves in East LA at the home of Robbie Reyes, the man who has taken over the role as the Ghost Rider. Robbie is talking to his brother and saying he doesn't feel very well. He feels like his insides are completely barbecued and something isn't quite right. He tells his brother that he needs to desperately get some air. Robbie starts to panic because he feels his energy slowly draining out of his body. He can't breathe, he needs to get to his car immediately. His car was missing and he was very shocked that someone would steal the Hell Charger. I cried laughing when I saw Moonknight behind the driver's seat of the Hell Charger as he says he curses himself because of how good it feels. We can also see Moonknight's Ankh stealing the power of the Ghost Rider as he drives off. So, next we find ourselves in Wakanda as the Panther goes up to Moonknight and his army, and on the radio he tells Captain America to protect the Star Brand, which we don't know much about quite yet, but he is ready for an all-out war with Moonknight as he tells Stephen goodbye and that the Avengers are his, now as Moonknight proclaims that this doesn't have to be a war. Black Panther tells him he will surrender peacefully as long as he spares Wakanda. Mark tries to use the Ankh to take the Panther's powers, but he is shocked as it isn't working as before like it did with the Iron Fist, Doctor Strange, and the Ghost Rider. Black Panther then tells him that his power is in his blood, so if he wants it he will have to take all of him, and then Moonknight decides to leave. I thought we were about to have an ultimate showdown, but I guess we will have to wait till the next time these two face off. Next, we see Thor on his way to Midgard contacting Captain America. He is rushing as fast as he can, as he sees Moonknight on the moon out of all places. He yells at him, calling him a coward for attacking the Avengers, along with their other allies. He joins him on the moon and tells him to stand down. Moonknight, with his goals already infused in his mind, refuses, as Thor throws his hammer at him, calling him a madman. Moonknight completely stops the hammer mid-air, as Thor is shocked and tries to call it back but can't. Moonknight explains that his hammer was crafted during the beginning of creation, and that it was made up of moon rock, and this is where I spit out my drink. Fans may know Mark Spector can control aspects of the moon, and objects made out of moon rock, but I can't tell you how shook I was when we find out about Mjolnir. Moonknight then proceeds to destroy Thor with his own hammer, and as Thor desperately tries to fight back, Moonknight does something that not a lot of people saw coming. He calls on many different moons from the galaxy and launches them at Thor, crushing him. Then at the end of the first volume we are shown Moonknight talking to Khonshu, and he is basically saying that everything he has done so far is to save the world. He didn't want to hurt anyone, but he had to do what he had to do. The real work begins now. This is one of my favorite Moonknight comics, so if you guys like this content please let us know, and if you want to see part 2 drop a comment and subscribe.